now we must add the quantities here, okay? The quantities to then have the total amount of this chapter, for example, to then create the Bill of Quantities. So for example, let's imagine that we will add the quantities for the let me think about one example. I will add here some walls. Let's create the first example with a wall. Okay, so let me add an item. Let's look for a wall. For example, interior partition wall, 11 centimeters thickness. This one, for example. Okay, so I'll do the first example here with the walls. Then we come back with the structural elements. Let's imagine that in one project we have a lot of walls. Okay, and for each wall we have different measurements. So we can add quantity detail lines to establish these quantities. For example, I'll add one here. So for example, let's imagine that I have the wall number 1. Okay, the wall number 1, I will add the area of this wall. That's gonna be, let's imagine I know this area. Okay, let's imagine that is 20 square meters. Okay, I can delete, for example, these values here and leave just the area. And here I can see that the wall 1 is 20 square meters. Okay, I can then copy that and create the, let's open it here a little bit, the wall 2. The wall 2, the area would be, for example, like 18. Okay, then I can copy, and on the wall 3, wall number 3, that could be 25. Okay, so once I add this data here, I'm actually adding all the details related to the quantities of this item. I can see that the total is 63, 20 plus 18 plus 25, and 63 multiplied by this cost of each square meters of internal partition. The total amount in this case is 16,800 rands. Okay, to these 3 walls that were included into the software. Why is it important to define these concepts here? Because these concepts, they will be then available on the reports in the end. So it's a way to detail each element of our of all the elements that were measured. Okay, where the quantities. How can I say? This is a way to correlate the quantities of the Bill of Quantities with the information from the project. Okay, in this case, the values were introduced manually. Okay, but we'll see in a while how to get this information from the DWG files or images. Okay, there's a second way to describe these values. Let's imagine that we know that the length of the walls, and we also know the height. Yeah, I think it's like this. Let's imagine that we always know that the height is 3 meters, and then we measure the length. The length, it's like, I don't know, let's put 7. Okay, so in this wall 1, it was 7 in length multiplied by 3, so it's 21. Okay, and then 21 plus 18 plus 25, 64. Or in this case, 3 and 6. And this is just a name that we put here. It's not a variable. Okay, so this is length. Let's put here length. Let's put here also length. This is height. Let's put here height. Let's put it height. The height is going to be always 3. Okay, so the idea is these cells, if they are filled, it's the results is going to be the first one multiplied by the second, multiplied by the third, multiplied by the fourth. Just if these cells are filled. If they are 0, they will not be considered. Okay, so you don't have to put 1 here, for example. Although if you put it, it's going to be, of course, the same result. But if you leave it empty, no problem, because it's not considered. So you have 4 places, 4 columns to create your formula to then calculate the quantity of a specific item that is then multiply it, and then we have the total sum and the total quantity. Okay, so this is how it works. But this is let's say that this is a manual way to introduce this information. Okay, and probably we would like to get this information from the plans, from the drawings. So let's do that. Okay, let's do that. So once we already imported our files, we use this option to import our files and create our library of templates. Now we'll jump from the first option to the second. Okay, and with the second option, we can select which template we'd like to see now. For example, I've created one that was the typical floor plan complete. For example, I will select it and let's accept. Okay, and then I can see this file here. Okay, I can see the file here in this window, and let's zoom, for example, to the typical floor plan, that is this one here, and I will use the information that we have here to, for example, measure the length of each one of these walls that we have here. Okay, for example, let's start. I'll use this I will measure this wall here, for example. Something that could be very useful is activate the object snaps. Okay, when we activate the snaps, we can track the different different lines of the file that was imported. So we can track the endpoint, the intersection between two lines, the nearest point to the cursor, the midpoint of a line. Okay, so it's something that will provide more precision when measuring. So I'll activate the snaps. Okay, some of them, at least the endpoint, intersection, and nearest. And then we use these tools that we have here to measure lengths, measure areas, measure angles. Okay, so we have here different tools to measure elements. Okay, for example, the wall one. Let's imagine the wall one is this one here. Okay, so I use this option here, and then I will get the, for example, from here to here, for example. Okay, I know that the length is 3 meters and 70 centimeters. Okay, 3.7. So 3.7. If now the information is here on the screen, it's save it. Okay, so I can go to these fields here that we have here and use and copy the information that is here to here. Okay, 3.7. 3.7 here. It was updated also here, that was multiplied. So here we have the change, and here we have the total change. Okay, another one. Let's imagine we like to measure, for example, from here to here. Okay, this is 5 meter. I'll go to the wall to 5 meter. Okay, oh sorry, there was a mistake here. I used the total of both of them. So let me delete and let's create again. Okay, so from here to here, then I can put it here, 5 meters. Okay, let's do another one. Let's imagine that the wall tree, it's gonna be from here to here, for example, or could be, for example, to here. Okay, the wall tree. Then we have that value here, that value there. Okay, let's duplicate and create the wall 4. Let me show you one example that's going to be very nice. This circular wall here. For example, this circular wall, I will start measuring from this point. For example, I'll come here to here, and now I will create little pieces of little dimensions here, little measures. Okay, and now if I use the option here, it's gonna be the total, the sum of all the segments that were created here. Okay, so 4 meters. So we know that we have a big one here that is 2.9, and then we have small pieces, and the total is going to be 4.1. Okay. So as you can see, it's very easy to get the lengths from the DWG file and then assign these lengths to fields here, and then have the total measurement without adding this information manually. Okay, so you are getting the information from the DWG file. This is why it's so important to adjust the scale of your project before you start getting these measurements, because if it's out of the scale, the measurements will be totally incorrect. Okay. Something that could be interesting in this case is we really know that the height is 3 meters. I'm not sure. I just introduced this value before, but as we have here the some elevations, we can also, for example, come here and measure the height. For example, from here to, I can use also here some options to get the most precise way, 4 meters. For example, if I get it from the corner, it's going to be more precise. Like this, actually it's 3.5, 3.4. So let's add 3.4 here. 3.4. Let's come back to wall 3. Now we know that it's 3.4. So now we have more precise value here, 3.4 and 3.4. Okay. So this is how we can get information from the DWG file and add to these cells here. Let's do some more examples. Okay. Let's do some more examples. Let's create one that is, for example, for the slabs. Okay. Reinforced concrete flat slab, horizontal with some information. Okay. Let's add some quantities here. So first, let's add a quantity detail line. Okay. The quantity detail, I will measure the slabs by floors. Okay. So let's imagine that I have the floor 1. Okay. Flat slabs, or just floor 1. Okay. And here I will measure directly the area. Actually, I know. Actually, this is an item that is in square meters, so I'll measure areas. Okay. So let's add in this quantity detail here. Floor 1. Okay, floor 1. Now I will not use the measure length. I will use the measure area option. So for example, I'll get this point. I'll get that point. I'll get that point. I'll get that point. And I'll get that point. Okay. So now I know that the area, or the total area of this floor is 197. So let's put it here, 197, and we have here 197. This is the total amount that we have now. Okay. If we know that we have the typical floor and we have 3 of them, one option could be add here, for example, number of floors, and add here a number that we know, 3, 4. Okay, this is one option. And then we have the total quantity here. Another option would be detail. I actually prefer to create floor by floor, although they have the same values. Okay, copy floor 1, floor 2, and floor 3, for example, too. So I will just change the name here. Floor 1, floor 2, and floor 3. Okay. And then I know, for example, that the roof is different. So in the roof, for example, I have less area. So let me copy. Let's change the roof. Actually, I have 2 roofs here. I have two levels of roof. The roof, it's actually, let's displace it. It's going to be the last one. So the roof, there is going to be a little bit less. So let's measure again. Let's go to the roof. So this is the roof, and the roof is going to be something like just the middle here. Okay, so no problem. Let's measure this area. So let's start here, here, here. Let's get some points here, there, there, there. Here, as you can see, it's very useful to have these snaps working, activated, because with the snap, it's going to be more precise when you get these points. Now you know how to create, to measure the curves. There is no problem to measure curved elements. Okay. Let's just finish this area here, and yeah, it's completed. So the number here, it's a little bit less. In the other levels, it was 197. Here we have 160. So let's put this data here. And the roof now, it's introduced here. So we have here the total amount to the reinforced concrete slabs. Okay. Let's imagine that this concrete slab, the item was cubic meters. One option would be measure the area, for example, here, and then add the thickness, for example, here, thickness, and add, for example, a value to that, 20 centimeters, for example. That could be an option. This is not the case. It was just an example, so let me undo that. But yeah, you can combine this information. There is no problem, okay? All right, so let's do one example more. Let's now do an example with the columns, for example, okay? The columns, I will add a quantity detail line. So this is gonna be the columns, okay? In this case, I will create the one field that's gonna be the area of the section. Then one that's gonna be, sorry, let me do again. So the area of the section. I will do also the height of the column, okay? And the number of columns, okay? And this is gonna be everything to the columns. So yeah, let's start adding information. The columns, the first thing that I will do, it's gonna be the area of the columns. I have here some, actually here we can deactivate the template that we introduced and use the other one that we filter just with the columns. It's gonna be easier to find information here. So we have the columns, okay? Let's measure the area, for example. The area of one column. One column, it's gonna be this little piece here. Let's add the area here, perfect. How many columns we have here? We have 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17, 18, 19 columns. So 19 columns. And what's the height of the columns? Let's come back to the other template and let's get the height of the columns from the section, for example. Let's imagine that the height of the column is the same that we have for the walls, okay? 3.4. So here we have the total volume of columns in one floor, okay? So we can now add here columns, floor 1, okay? And then we can copy and floor 2, okay? For example, as we made with the slabs, the same situation, okay? It's just to show you one example, okay? So there are different ways to combine the data that you can get from the files and the data that you can add manually. You can define how you can use these values here. There's no specific rules to do that. You can create your own, okay? But that is important that the concepts that you add here, as I said before, they will be in the reports in the end. We'll see then how to export these reports. So if you add those details, it's going to be easier to understand these numbers in the future, okay? Nice. We saw how to use the DWG files to extract the quantities, but we also imported more files. For example, we imported the JPG floor plan. So let's activate the JPG, and the JPG is here, okay? So let's use this example to create something related to the finishes. For example, let's measure something to the finishes. We saw some concrete elements, some walls, but let's do some internal finishes. For example, let's imagine that each color of this house here, it's a different finish to the pavement, okay? The tiles, they will be different, okay? So the first thing that I'll do is include some items from my course database to this chapter here, okay? So add item, let's see what we have here for if you have some tiles here. Oof, we have a lot of them here. Porcelain, indoor cladding, ceramic. Yeah, I'll add 2 of them here. For example, I'll add this porcelain something. I'll add here. And let me add another one. That is gonna be this indoor, I don't know if this is a pavement. Yeah, I'll just get this one. Okay, just to show some the examples, just to have 2 options here, okay? The first one is gonna be, for example, here in this area of the garage, okay? So I will measure this area here. So I will add a quantity detail. This is gonna be the garage, okay? The garage, I will measure the area of the garage, okay? The garage, and here I will use also the measure area tool. So I'll start here. Let's do, although it's a picture and the picture don't have the best quality, there's no problem. I'm sure that this data could be much more precise than you have a measure with a manual data, data that you get from without using this snaps here, okay? Of course, if you are working with a BIM model, it's going to be much more precise. And if you work with a DWG file, it could be more precise than the picture too. So here we have this area. Let's put it here. Okay. Now let's go to the other. That's going to be this light color here that we have the dining, lounge, kitchen, and family room, and this food space here. So let's add a quantity detail line. This is going to be also area. Okay, let's start with the dining room. Sorry, dining and kitchen. They are together. Okay. Sorry, it was dining and lounge. So let's change it. Dining and lounge. Okay. So yeah, let's get this information. I'll start here, 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 there, there, there. Here we have a little bit of finishes here, there, 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 and there. Okay, 29. Let's put it here. Let's copy that. And this, in this case, it's gonna be, for example, kitchen and family in family room. Kitchen and family room. Okay. Let's go again. Let's start here. Go there, go there, go there, a little bit here, go there, go there, go there, 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 here, and here. Okay. Let's confirm it. 26, 26. Okay. And the last one, let's copy that. That's gonna be the food. That's gonna be this guy here. Okay, this area here. So now we have here the 3 elements that we created. And as you saw, the same thing that we that we did with the DWG file, we can also do with the images. Okay, the only thing that we must be careful it's about the scales when we import these files in the beginning. Okay, so yeah, let's see another example. Let's imagine that I would like to add a fence in a plot, for example. So we imported in the beginning that file from the Google Maps. So if I activate it, look, let me show you one example that is nice. I can activate more than one file. Okay, so for example, let me activate for example, the two of them together. Let me see if here they are overlapped. We cannot see, but the idea is, let me see, maybe the AutoCAD file could be not overlapped. Let me see here. Yeah, here you can see they are multiple files here that can be activated too if you want. And as you can see, they are in the same scale. The plot have the size that is correct to the size of the DWG files. We can see that is that could be a correct size to this building according to the size of this plot, okay? Because the scales were adjusted before, okay? Let me deactivate the DWG file. And let's imagine that I would like to add a fence to this plot here that we took from Google Maps. So here in the external works, let me add an item, for example. Let me look for a wall, for example, or a fence. I'll get this one. And this to this item, I will add a quantity detail line that's going to be length multiplied by height, okay? And this is going to be, I will just call wall, okay? The height is going to be like 1.8 meters, fix it. But the length, I will get it from the image, okay? So yeah, the wall is here. Let's use the option to measure length. I'll get it, for example, I imagine that is here. I imagine that is here, here. I would just here. Let's imagine that it's going to be until this point, okay? So as you can see, we can also get information from here. Let's confirm, let's paste it here. And now we have the area of the wall for the perimeter of the plot, okay? So this is another interesting way to use the software to get information from places like that, okay? The last one would be, for example, the PDF, but actually it's the same situation. Let me activate the PDF. The PDF is here. It's like a picture in this case. So let's use it for another example, like we made for the finishes. Let's imagine here we have, it's quite the same, but let me get this little bathroom here just to add one detail here, the porcelain, okay? So let's add a quantity line, area, okay? You create here a name for that, and then we just use the same tool to do here with the PDF, and then we put it here, and we have the detail, okay? So very easy, and it works in the same way that then the pictures and the DWGs. But again, you just have to adjust the scale carefully before you start working here.